As I get a little older, I realize life is perspective, and my perspective may differ from yours. I want to say thank you to everyone that's been down with me, all my fans, all my beautiful fans, anyone that's ever gave me a listen, all my people. That's the intro to Kendrick Lamar's new song called "The Heart Part 5. If you have not listened to this song, please pause the video, go and listen to the song, go and watch the actual video, and then come back and watch this video. Everything is about what? Perspective. Life is about perspective. I find it very fascinating when someone comes with a perspective and people feel like that perspective is not valid, or they feel like they want to attack that person for having that perspective. That's what hinders your growth as a person. What you must do when someone is different or when someone has a different perspective is try to understand why they have that perspective. Don't force people to have your perspective. I find it very weird that we always want people to be like us. Everyone must be like me. And that's how I'm going to feel whole. That's what's gonna make me feel complete. If other people are not like me, if other people don't see things the way that I see them, then I must attack them. Or I must try to force them to see things from my perspective. But that's not what life should be about. That's like if someone doesn't look like me and I feel like I must force them to look like me. That's what you're doing. If someone is living a life that's different from yours, unless they are harming others or harming you, you mustn't feel like they must change. If someone is gay and you don't understand where they are coming from or why they are gay, it doesn't mean that you must try to change them. Let them be who they are and try to understand why it makes sense for them to be like that. Because if you are them, you will be like that. That must be very simple for you to understand. That must be very obvious for you to understand. You are who you are because of your perspective, because of how you see the world, because of how you were programmed, genetically, and also socially as well. All these things do count. So yeah, life's about perspective, man. On the first verse, he raps about people getting killed and that being part of the culture. He says that you can get locked up and save 17 years in prison and then come out and then get killed while trying to buy weed, stuff like that. It's part of the culture. These things are normal. These things don't even surprise people anymore because they're part of the culture. I often say that just because something is normal does not mean that it's okay, because people often mistake normal for good. And that's what makes it hard for humans to evolve. Because if I think that just because this is normal, it's good, then I'm not going to feel like it must change, even if it's not really taking our societies anywhere, even if it's not making our society functional. So, yeah, it's talking about, all the killings in many black American neighborhoods, and these things are normal. I was watching this video. There's this song, man. What's the name of the song? It's called I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore. I think the name of the band that sang the song is Rise Above, something like that. In the beginning of the video, this young girl is talking about what she had seen. She's like, 8, 9, and she's saying, I've seen killings about 4, 5 times. You know what I mean? She's 4. She's 8 or 9, and she's saying she's seen killings about 4, 5 times. That's crazy. And she talks about it as if it's something that is normal. Like, she's not even traumatized by it. It's part of the culture. It's part of what happens all the time. So people are not surprised by these things anymore. People are not trying to change these things anymore in ways that are really, really effective. Because we can talk about these things, but are we really doing what we must be doing to change these things? Or we've already accepted that this is life. This is what it's about. So that's what Kendrick was basically saying, that it's part of the culture. In the second verse, he talks, his face changes into different celebrities. I like that part. So it first changed into Kobe. It changed into O.J. Simpson. I'm not sure why it changed into O.J. Simpsons. I didn't really understand what was going on there. But it changed into Kanye West when he spoke about bipolar. I felt like that was great because he was talking about being part of the culture and also being against the culture, So the whole thing was like this. So him talking about bipolar, I felt like that was dope. He was basically saying that sometimes you've got to play the orphans, because it's a jungle, kill or be killed. That's what it was basically implying with those lyrics, Most of the times when people come into our lives, we don't know their intentions, People might want to hurt us, people might want something from us, and it's hard to figure out what their intentions are. So he was basically saying, hey man, you gotta play the orphans. You've got to, it's part of the culture. You just gotta kill or be killed. If you don't play the orphans, then someone is gonna do something to you. If you don't kill, then you're gonna get killed. It's how things are. It's what's normal in our culture. I felt like that it was good that he mentioned that, because this happens to everyone. In our lives, all of us have been betrayed at some point, and sometimes we've learned something from that experience. Sometimes we may even feel like that's how life should be. You must just not trust anyone because people are not trustworthy, and it's how things are. It's what's normal in our society. As he was rapping, his face also changed into Jesse Smollett. I don't know if I pronounced this guy's name right, but that guy from Empire, we all know what happened, right? He faked being attacked for being gay or something like that. I'm not sure if he's gay in real life or, he was attacked because he was playing a gay character. Not really sure. No, he meant that he got attacked because he was playing a gay character. But later, it was found out that, the guy actually faked the whole thing and he got charged for it. But what Kendrick was saying here is that a lot of people feel like they must play victim because being a victim is promoted now. Being a victim is accepted in our society. Sometimes we feel like that's the only way we can get love. If I talk about, having been abused as a child, for an example, and then people might show me love and say that they love me, send me some hugs, stuff like that. And that's how we've always been as a culture. We want to show love or support to people that we feel are hurting. So people feel like they must appear to be hurting. People fake their pain because of that. We see that happening a lot, man, in our society. And it seems like that's how we are as people, because I see that with my nephew, right? I have a nephew. Sometimes when he falls down, when you look at him, he starts crying. But if you don't pay attention to him, he doesn't most of the time. So I always say to my mom that, when he falls down, don't pay attention to him. He's most likely not going to cry. Don't say sorry or something like that, because you're going to make him cry, because he wants you to acknowledge that something has happened to him. He's a victim in that situation, and you must give him hugs. He's gonna get used to it. He's gonna get used to the fact that he must get, or not even a fact, but he might get used to the idea that he must get hugs, or he must be shown love when he's hurt, and he's always gonna use that, in his life in order to get love. So that's what Jesse Smollett was doing. People just wanna appear as if they are victims in situations, even when it comes to relationships. For an example, you might meet a person and they tell you their side of the story of what happened between them and someone else. The way that they're gonna tell you the story, they're gonna make it look as if they are the victim, and then you hear the other person's side of the story, and then they portray it as if they are victims as well. You know what I mean? It's how it is. It's like people just wanna look as if they are victims because they know that that's the only way they can get love. That's the only way they can get support. His face also turned into Will Smith. I think he was saying something like, we live in a culture where people who are hurt others, something like that. I feel like that was really, really important, and it was very, very relevant because we saw what happened with Will Smith. The whole world saw what happened with Will Smith. We know that he did what he did because he was hurt. Maybe he felt like he needed to prove something, but we know that was coming from pain. He wouldn't have attacked Chris Rock if he was not in pain. He felt like he needed to prove something to the world. He felt like we looked at him as if he was not man enough. Some people even say that, if it was Pac would have done this, Pac would have done that. Talking about that situation with what's the name of the kid that Jada Pinkett had sex with? Forgot his name. Whatever, man. I'm not really a fan of these celebrities, but yeah, he felt like he needed to prove himself because it did hurt him. It would hurt if people are turning your pain into a meme. It will definitely hurt. And I think also Jada might have said something to him. She might have said that he's not man enough and all this kind of shit. So, maybe it made him feel like he needed to prove that he was man enough, by slapping someone in front of the world, in a place where no one expected it. I mean, it felt like that was gangster, I guess. But all of it was coming from pain, So most of the times when people get hurt, they actually hurt others, One thing that I advise people is that when you're hurt, man, learn from it, learn from other people's mistake. When people hurt you, realize how that makes you feel and try to heal and not do the same thing to other people. Sometimes it might manifest in a different way. So, okay, your boss hates you at work, and then you get home and then you start verbally abusing your children, not realizing where all of that is coming from. So you must always try to do a lot of work internally to figure out where your anger comes from and all that, so that you won't continue with the cycle, So yeah, man, I feel like this is a very important song in hip hop right now. That's why it's getting a lot of views, man. This I think it's on 13 million views, and it was released like 34 hours ago. It's a song that we need as a culture. It's a song that we need as a society, but we also need to change. We also need to evolve. Because I hate that these artists come and show us how the world really is, and we talk about these things, but we don't do anything to change. Like what Childish Gambino did with "This Is America." I felt like that was a very brilliant song, but it's not like it changed anything. We just gave him awards, but yeah, what did it change? He showed us the world as it is, but we didn't do anything about it, as if it's part of the culture, it's part of life. Like, no, does life have to be like this? Or we can do something about it. We can take a stand as a society, we can take a stand as a society and be like, yo, we don't want this shit. We don't want things to be this way. If you shoot someone now, we're gonna do something about it as a society. We're gonna do something about it as a neighborhood. We're no longer gonna be allowing this violence to continue. We're gonna teach our kids the right things. We're gonna show them the love that they need. We're not gonna continue this cycle anymore because it's harming our society. That's why people like myself are like, oh man, I ain't bringing anybody into this stupid society because we're not changing. It becomes pointless. It becomes a negative thing to do this, to bring people here. Why would you bring a child into a world full of violence, in a world full of hatred? It's fucking backwards. If you're smart, you cannot be doing that because you see that people are not willing to change. People are not willing to evolve. It is that simple to see. So I feel like this is a very, very important song, and people must listen to it, but also try to change. You cannot change the world unless you change yourself, man. And if people really listen to this song with the intention of changing, with the intention of actually becoming aware and embracing the truth, then we might evolve. But hey, humans ain't really willing to evolve, dude. It's really scary. It's really scary. But yeah, I really feel like this is a very, very good song. This is a song that must be promoted. This is a song that must hit 1 billion views or more. It might even become the most viewed song on YouTube. I mean, remember at one point the most viewed song on YouTube was that Gangnam Style song, whatever. I don't even know. Is it Gangnam Style? I don't even know what they call it. But it was the most viewed. But what the fuck did we learn from that song? So we must try to push this kind of songs with messages that are gonna take society somewhere, and it represents hip hop. It's some dope rap song, man. You gotta listen to it. Thank you all, guys. Peace.